and welcome to the Blues Cruise, featuring the music and the stories of local blues duo B&B. The B's stand for Ernie Bell and Richard Brunton.
Don't it make you wanna holler? Lord, don't it make you wanna moan? Don't it make you wanna holler? Yeah, don't it make you wanna moan? When you got no friend to turn to, all your hope is gone. They take you to the station, put you on a section 2.
Ernie Bell and Richard Brunton have been living and performing in Somerset for more than a quarter of a century. They met and teamed up here, although both grew up and cut their blues teeth in Newcastle in the 60s. Ernie takes up the story.
There were kind of 3 main venues. There was the Downbeat, which was a kind of after-hours, all-night club scene. There was the Muscle Inn down on the quayside, which was a very small, hot, sweaty, sticky dive. And there was, of course, the Club of Go-Go. And at that time, the Animals were playing every gig that they could possibly play in the area. The Club of Go-Go was their kind of their home. But there was lots of blues influences coming over with the Merchant Seamen. They were bringing in chess records on the old Red and Yellow chess label. So they were bringing in music from the States at that point. And you could hear blues music coming from most of the clubs at the time, mainly being led by the Animals.
And Richard, there were a huge number of bands working. How many?
Well, there were sort of 4 music stores, which were very, very vibrant on Saturdays. They're absolutely packed with young players, all, picking up guitars and playing blues licks on guitars that they couldn't afford. And one of the shops was called Jevons on Percy Street, and they did a survey in I think it was 1965, and they established that there were 350 working bands in the Tyneside area at that time.
That's extraordinary. Were they all getting work?
And there were enough gigs to support them. There are the sort of headline gigs that Ernie mentioned, but there's also a huge number of music pubs and CIU affiliated working men's clubs. We used to play Ryep Seaview Working Men's Club all over County Durham and Northumberland.
This was long before you actually met and got together to play, of course.
It was. We were actually working in separate bands. Ernie was with one of the really notable bands from Newcastle at the time, The Chosen Few. I was in a band called The Epidemic. We played the same circuit, really, and we probably did play several gigs on the same bill. We did a wonderful place called the Tynemouth Plaza, which subsequently fell into the North Sea. And they used to do all-night sessions there, all-night dances. And Jesmond Dean Banqueting Hall, they did all-nighters as well. So we played on the same bill as the Chosen Few.
How did it start for you, Ernie? How did you get into playing in the first instance?
Well, it started when I went to art college. I was at art college. I did an interior design course. And one of the lecturers there, a man called Tommy Watson, I got on really well with him. And one day I was walking past the staff room, and I heard this amazing sound coming out of the staff room door. So I stuck my head in. There was Tommy Watson sat there next to his dance set. Well, that's amazing. And I said, who's that? What's that? He said, oh, it's a man called Sonny Boy Williamson. And it's a track called Help Me. And it changed my life.
The song that changed Ernie Bell's life would decades later become part of the set he plays with Mendip musical partner Richard Brunson. This rendition is from their CD, Up to No Good.
You gotta help me. Lord, I can't do this by myself. Ooh, babe. You know I can't do this by myself. If you won't help me, darling, gonna have to find somebody else. I might have to wash, might have to sew, might have to cook, even scrub the floor, babe. I can't do this by myself. If you won't help me, darling, gonna find somebody else. Somebody else. Bring me my nightshirt. Put on your morning gown. Bring me my nightshirt. Put on your morning gown. Babe, I don't feel like sleeping. I feel like lying down. You gotta help me. I can't do this by myself. Ooh, babe, by myself. If you won't help me, darling, gonna find somebody else.
So I said, oh, I'd love to be able to play like that. He said, well, get yourself down to Jevons. Tell me you want a harmonica. They're about 6 and 9pence. So I did. I went down to Jevons, asked them for a harmonica, and of course they pulled out a huge tray. And there's double reed harmonicas, there's chromatic harmonicas. I said, no, I want a harmonica that'll make me sound like Sonny Boy Williamson. He said, oh, you want a Necco Super Vamba? So I said, okay, what's them? So he pulled a tray of Super Vambas out. And I said, have you got that record, Help Me by? And he said, we'll send off, we'll see if we've got anybody who's got a copy. He said, come back in next Saturday and we'll probably sort you out a copy. So I went in the next Saturday. They had me a copy. So I went, they had a little sound booth and you could put the headphones on. And he gave me a tray of these harmonicas, because I didn't know which key they were playing in. So he put the record on, and I went through the tray of harmonicas until I found the harmonica that sounded like what Sonny Boy was playing. So I thought, that's it, I've got a track. For the next 5 or 6 months, I must have driven most of my mates up the wall. Every opportunity I got, I would find a little space and I'd practice my harmonica playing. And then I was going along to, especially Club of Go-Go, where there were bands playing, and I'd stand in front of the bands and I'd play along while the band were playing. I'd play along with the band.
Did they mind that?
Well, better than that, I went to a Cream gig, and there was Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Jack Bruce on stage. And they saw me playing, and they asked me if I'd get up and play along with them while they were playing.
Well, that takes some beating, doesn't it? First gig with Cream.
Absolutely.
Jamming with Cream sounds like a West Country delicacy. But Somerset was still a good way ahead for Ernie Bell and the guy he would team up with to produce these sounds as the B&B duo.
Said you can't judge sugar by looking at the cane. Can't judge a woman by looking at a man. Can't judge one man by looking at another. Can't judge a book by looking at the cover. Can't you see? Girl, you misjudge me. I might look like a farmer, but I'm a lover. You can't judge a book by looking at the cover. Honey, by looking at the bee. Can't judge an apple by looking at the tree. Can't judge your sister by looking at your brother. Can't judge a book by looking at the cover. Can't you see? Girl, you misjudge me. I might look like a farmer, but I'm a lover. You can't judge a book by looking at the cover. Right by looking at the wrong. Can't judge a singer by looking at the song. You can't judge a sister by looking at your brother. Can't judge a book by looking at the cover. Can't you see? Girl, you misjudge me. I might look like a farmer, but I'm a lover. No, you can't judge a book by looking at the cover. No, you can't.
Ernie Bell's musical journey had begun with a chance hearing of Sonny Boy Williamson's Help Me. Richard Brunson, Ernie's contemporary in 60s Newcastle, had an earlier chance encounter with something like a guitar.
And my parents went on holiday to Morocco and brought back an instrument called a gimbri, which is basically a tortoise with some pigskin pulled tight over it, and a neck and 3 strings. And I drove the family mad by playing the theme from Z-Cars on the gimbri, and drove them crazy. So my dad went out and bought me a guitar. I played mate's guitar in a sort of house up the road, but he bought me my first instrument, which was Romanian acoustic, for £4, 17 and sixpence.
A fortune at the time.
Reduced because of faulty varnish. And then I put a pickup on that. Of course, I was doing what a lot of guitarists on Tyneside were doing, which was going to the club a go-go, getting there early, especially to see John Mayall's Blues Breakers. And we'd go and stand right at the front and see what Peter Green was doing, see what Eric Clapton was doing. And then of an evening, we'd be listening to Radio Luxembourg, we'd be listening to Willis Conover on Voice of America Jazz Hour on American Forces Network. And I had a little tape recorder, so I'd record any tracks that I liked and just learn guitar that way.
Self-taught then?
Yes.
Listening to some great people?
Yes, absolutely. All the Kings, B.B. King, Freddie King, Albert King.
And your journey from Newcastle to Somerset, I know you're not going to say I got on the bus, but it took you to a lot of places, through a lot of experiences, and playing with some great people, didn't it?
It did, yes. I moved from Newcastle to London in 1968 and took a job at Private Eye magazine. And
doing what?
Well, I started off as tea-boy and receptionist, and then graduated through doing research for Paul Foote. So I became an investigative journalist over a sort of 3-year period. Still made the tea and answered the phone as well. It was a small operation, but it was a wonderful university for me. While I was there, I had my own jazz quintet, and I also had a blues duo with another guy from Newcastle, Mickey Walker, who I've only recently run into again. We had a blues duo as well. And Private Eye used to put out a free record every Christmas, which was a 7-inch flexi disc. So that was, I got roped into playing guitar on 3 of those. So that was with Peter Cook, Dudley Moore, Willie Rushton, John Wells, Richard Ingrams, and Barry Fantoni. And we'd go into the Marquee Studios in Soho, round the corner from the Private Eye office in Greek Street. And on one of the records, they only lasted 7 minutes long, script written in the pub the day before, and on one occasion it took us 17 hours to record the 7 minutes. It was just hilarious with Peter Cook and Dudley Moore in your headphones, coming up with impromptu high humour.
Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? And if you bear this in mind, a good friend Don't you know that your mama will talk about you, your brother and your sister will. No matter what you try to do, they talk about you still. And if you bear this in mind, a true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? I said don't mind people grinning in your face. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? If you bear this in mind, a good friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you know they'll lift you up and carry you all over town? But the minute that your back is turned, they try to crush you down. If you bear this in mind, a good friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? I said don't mind people grinning in your face. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? If you bear this in mind, a good friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you know they'll lift you up and carry you all over town? But the minute that your back is turned, they try to crush you down. If you bear this in mind, a true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind?
And after those very fun-sounding days, you went on to session career with all sorts of famous artists.
I did. I joined a jazz rock band, which was my first introduction to Somerset. They were based in East Pennard in Somerset. And it was called Satva. It featured Alexis Korner's daughter. And when that band folded after 3 years, we did play at the first Glastonbury Festival.
Are you going to reform to do the big anniversary?
Well, you're not the first person to ask, Paul. It may be on the cards if I can track down. I know one of the players is living in Turkey, another one's in the States, so I may try and put something together for that. Yeah, but that band was contracted by Pete Sinfield from King Crimson to write music for Pete's first solo project, which was an album called Still. So that was my first experience of 24-track working in major studio called Command in London, Piccadilly. And the musicians that I met on that project led the way to becoming a freelance, turning professional, and contributing guitar to lots of people's records.
We don't mind name dropping on this programme. We encourage it, in fact. So give us some of the stars you played with.
Well, I worked with most of the sort of Scottish folk mafia, Rab Noakes, Barbara Dixon, Michael Mara, and Jerry Rafferty. I had some wonderful experiences recording and touring with Jerry Rafferty.
While Richard was developing his musical career, Ernie, harmonica player and now accomplished singer too, had left Newcastle on a spiritual journey. It took him first to Bristol and then to Southern Ireland. Musical development, for a while, was on hold.
So I was over in Southern Ireland looking for things to do. I was doing a bit of building work. And I met some musicians on one of the building sites I was working on. So we started to form a little band. We put a little band together. And we were doing gigs around West Cork. And I bumped into Noel Redding, who was living in Clonakilty at the time.
And for the uninitiated, he was associated with Hendrix, of course.
He was Jimi Hendrix's original bass player with The Experience. And Noel and I got on like a house on fire. We immediately warmed to each other. A very, very funny and intelligent man, God rest his soul. So we decided we'd do some gigs as a two-piece. So we formed a band called Clonakilty Cowboys, playing a mixture of sort of Celtic rock and original material songs that Noel was writing. I started songwriting at the time. I'd learned to play a few chords, but mainly harmonica was my major instrument. But yeah, so I was in Southern Ireland from 77 to 81, and then I got pleurisy with the wet, the rain, the constant rain. And I was told I had to leave, otherwise my health was going to deteriorate rapidly.
And did that bring you to Somerset?
That's exactly what brought me to Somerset. Came to Somerset in September 81. Found a nice little place out in Butley, and I was moving in on the Saturday, and one of the neighbours saw me taking my guitar case into the house. So he said, what you got in there? I said, oh, just an acoustic. He said, can you play? I said, a bit. He said, look, I'm part of the rugby club, and we'll meet on a Sunday lunchtime in the Rose and Portcullis in Butley. Come down and play for us Sunday lunchtime. There'll be a drink and a bit of food in it for you. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. So I went down and played, and some of the local builders were in there and asked me if I did the music as a living, and I said no, I do a bit of building. And they said, oh, come down to the offices Monday morning. So I'd moved in on the Saturday, had a gig on the Sunday, and a job to start on the Monday. So Glastonbury welcomed me with open arms.
One day, ham and bacon, and the next, there ain't nothing shaking. Ain't nobody's business if we do. Yeah, me and my lady fuss and fight. We kiss and make up and everything's alright. Ain't nobody's business if we do. No, it ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if we do. Said it ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business business if we do. Get myself a 6-gun and shoot my lady. Ain't nobody's business if we do. One day I might take a notion, take myself a long walk and jump right in the ocean. Ain't nobody's business if we do. No, it ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if we do. No, it ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if we do. One day ham and bacon, and the next there ain't nothing shaking. Ain't nobody's business if we do. I said it ain't nobody's business. Nobody's business. No, it ain't nobody's business if we do.
By now, Richard Brunson had also settled in Somerset. It was only a matter of time before his path would cross that of his fellow Tynesider.
It was a mutual friend, Charlie Miller, who we also work with. We've got a 4-piece band as well as the blues duo Bell and Brunton B&B. Charlie Miller plays drums and sings in our 4-piece band, Fat Spanner. At the time, Charlie had just started working for Arabella Churchill's Children's World charity, and they wanted to do a single to raise some money for the charity. So I was very happy to come in and do some arranging and producing on that. So we recorded that at Ollie's wonderful Beehive Studios in Middleseye near Bridgewater, and that's where Ernie and I first met. So of course there's this whole shared heritage that we had, and it was like, you know, two old buddies meeting for the over a pint.
And how did it develop from there? You found each other, you'd recognised that you'd had similar origins
Shared
in terms
heritage.
of, and was it then you decided immediately we must form a duo?
Just about.
It was, yeah.
Just about, yeah. I said, well, what you do with yourself these days? He said, oh, you know, I'm doing a bit of recording and make my own stuff and stuff for library and what else. And I said, well, I'm kind of going out on my own, doing a blues set, basically. He said, oh, I'm a blues man myself. I love playing blues. Well, you know, why don't we work out a set and take it out and do something? And that was, what, 84? 26 years ago?
And pretty much the stuff you've done, has the act developed, or was it pretty much you knew what you were going to do and you stuck to it?
Pretty much so. pretty much so. As time's gone by, I've been writing my own material in a kind of blues vein. So we've introduced more and more of my original songs into the set. But basically we still stick to the roots.
Stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Yeah, they call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Wednesday is worse. Thursday makes me sad. The eagle flies on Friday. Saturday I go out and play. Fries on Friday, and Saturday I go out and play. I go to church on Sunday, and I get down on my knees and pray. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Yeah, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. I've been trying to find my baby. Won't somebody send her home to me? Wednesday is worse. Thursday so sad. Saturday I go out and play. Yeah, the eagle flies on Fridays. And Saturday I go out and play. I go to church on Sundays, and I fall down on my knees and pray. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Mercy, Lord have mercy on me. Been trying to find my baby. Won't somebody send her home? Won't somebody send her home? Won't somebody send her home to me.
Stormy Monday Blues, performed by Mendip-based duo Ernie Bell and Richard Brunton. Ernie's own Stormy Monday put him in hospital with a condition later diagnosed as gallstones. He had been running musical workshops, as he still does, for people with learning difficulties.
One weekend, I started to feel pretty ill on the Friday. Saturday I felt worse, and by Sunday I was running a temperature. I was feeling very, very ill indeed. So on the Monday, I went to my local GP, and he said, "Oh, we'll have you down to Musgrove. I don't like the look of this." So I drove down to Musgrove Hospital, thinking that I'll just be in and have a checkup and I'll be fine. I got down to Musgrove, and the lady on the reception said, "Oh yeah, we've got a bed for you, Mr. Bell." And I just thought, hang on a minute, this wasn't in the plan. I'd better ring somebody and let them know that they're keeping me in here. So I pulled my mobile out to see that I had no battery in my mobile. So they took me down to the nursing station and allocated me a bed, and next thing I knew it, I was lying in a hospital bed with no way of letting anybody know where I was or what was going on for me or whatnot else. And by then I was running a temperature of 39 point something. I was almost delirious. I was sweating rivulets. And I was lying there thinking, oh, I could die here and nobody'd know. Nobody'd know what was going on with me. So I did have a pen and a newspaper. So I just started to write down what was going on for me as a way of staying sane, I suppose, giving me an anchor, something to kind of keep myself focused. So I started to write. And that writing became a song that both Richard and I do, but we do it within the four-piece too. It became a song called Ward Blues. And it was basically about people who find themselves in hospital without any outside contact with the world. Suddenly all your kind of connections, all the things which you kind of see as being very integral to your life and your lifestyle are taken away from you. And you can't even phone a friend to let them know that you're ill and that you need some support.
Don't it make you wanna holler? you wanna moan? Don't it make you wanna holler? Yeah, don't it make you wanna moan? When you got no friend to turn to, all your hope is gone. They take you to the station, put you on a section 2. They take you to the station, put you on a section 2. You have to take a medication, and there's nothing you can do. Don't it make you wanna holler? Yeah, don't it make you wanna moan? Don't it make you wanna holler? Oh, don't it make you wanna moan? When you got no friend to turn to, all your hope is gone. They take away my whiskey, take away my candy cane. They take away my whiskey, take away my candy cane. Got no crackling Rosie, ain't got sweet Mary Jane. Don't it make you wanna holler? Don't it make you wanna moan? Don't it make you wanna holler? Don't it make you wanna moan? When you got no friend to turn to, all your hope is gone. Yeah, you know I might go crazy in that big house on the hill. Yeah, you know I might go crazy in that big house on the hill. Make a full recovery, but then again perhaps I never will. you wanna moan. Don't it make you wanna holler? No, don't it make you wanna moan? When you've got no friend to turn to, all your hope has gone.
And that experience in hospital and what followed led to other songs.
It did. Following Ward Blues, I decided to make some changes in my life. So I wrote a song called Change, which is about how I basically had to change my lifestyle, my approach to life. And again, Richard and I perform it as part of the blues duo set.
There's a change in the mountain, change in the sea. There's a change in my baby, change come over me. Oh yeah, the change come over me. Days in the desert, thirsty as can be. 40 nights in the darkness, blind I could not see. Oh, I was blind, I could not see. I went down to the market to get myself some meat. That meat tasted better. I needed something sweet. Oh yeah, I said I needed something sweet. 'Cause there's a change in the mountain, change in the sea. There's a change in my baby, change come over me. I feel it. Change come over me. Crying preacher, help me please. That a preacher man, he told me, son, get up off of your knees. You better get up off of your knees. 'Cause there's a change in the mountain, change in the sea. There's a change in my baby, change come over me. Oh yes, yeah, change come over me. There's a change in the mountain, change in the sea. There's a change in my baby, change come over me. Oh yeah, I feel it. Change come over me, I feel it. A change come over me, I feel it. A change come over me right now, I feel change come over me. Oh yeah, I feel change come over me right now. The change come over me right now. The change come
It's an extraordinary journey that you've both been on, and it's not over yet by a long chalk. What are your sort of development plans at the moment? Where are you going with your music now? Richard first.
It's a constant quest, really. I've got a sort of extensive library of material, looking for the right publisher, actually, to exploit the back catalogue. So
This is original work.
yes, it covers a broad spectrum of music, from jazz through to acoustic songs, all sorts, really.
And Ernie, where's your future taking you? You've made some changes in your life, as you were saying. Where's it pointing you?
I have made changes. I just intend in the future to use my own life experiences to develop song ideas, and I put them to workshop groups first, see what the response is to the workshop group, kick around ideas and development, and then usually take them to Richard, and Richard gives me kind of pointers as to how the song can be developed, how it can be arranged, how it can be improved upon.
got the key to the highway, built out and bound to go. Gonna leave here running, 'cause walking's goes too slow. Going back to the border, where I'm better known. Well, you ain't done nothing but drive a good man from his own.
You have been listening to the words and music of Mendip-based blues duo B&B. Ernie Bell sings and plays harmonica and guitar. Richard Brunton plays guitar and keyboards. Both write original material.
When the moon comes over the mountain, I'll be on my way. Gonna roam this old highway till my dying day. Give me one kiss, mama, just before I go. Well, you ain't done nothing but drive a good man from his home.
All the songs you have heard are from B&B's albums Up to No Good and So Far So Good. To contact Ernie Bell and Richard Brunton, call 01749 851 850 165. That's 01749 850 165. This is Milton Bluesman ending another blues cruise on GFM 107.1. Thanks for cruising with me. See you next time.
Got the key to the highway, built out and about to go. Well, you ain't done nothing but drive a good man from his own.